I really gonna prioritize a goofy Chainsaw Man show over my exams? Yes. Dog and Chainsaw is an amazing episode and a solid start to a promising series, investing me in the story's world and, more importantly, the main character. Denji is the only character who gets any important focus, but despite being able to understand if some people think this is a bad writing decision because the first episode should focus on showing us all the characters, this episode explores Denji's character so well that I can't say I have a problem with it. Denji, despite having a tragic past, is still a compassionate and determined guy. And near the end of the episode, he shows signs of being a bit of a wild card. He has an interesting personality, with it being extremely easy to root for him. Because Denji is in crippling debt from his father, his dad killing himself instead of paying off his debts, forcing Denji to have to pay off those debts to the Yakuza instead, starting when he was a young kid with the help of a devil named Puchita. Puchita met Denji while gravely injured, Denji allowing Puchita to drink some of his blood in exchange to help him get through his newfound debt passed on to him, since devils can heal themselves by drinking blood. Right after this flashback scene, Denji is telling Puchita about what he wants to dream about when he falls asleep, wanting love and attention from a woman. Considering Denji probably hasn't had any parents or friends to take care of him as he coughs up blood, saying his mother died from a condition that caused her to throw up blood as well, and his father having hanged himself to avoid his debt, this want of his makes him even more tragic, as despite having this friendship with Puchita, he really just wants another human to care about him. Puchita innocently listening is a sweet moment between the two, even if what Denji is saying is sad to think about. When Denji and Puchita are killed, Puchita manages to come back from Denji's blood dripping into their mouth, giving us another flashback to Denji telling Puchita he wants them to live a normal life, and that if he dies, he wants Puchita to take over his body, since he's heard rumors of some devils being able to take over corpses for themselves. Puchita brings Denji back, seemingly sacrificing themselves and becoming his heart, in exchange of seeing Denji's dreams, telling us that Puchita really does care about Denji and wants to see his dreams fulfilled, even if that means he won't be side by side with Denji anymore. Puchita also proves that devils are capable of having strong, almost human-like emotions, making the devils more interesting with this single added feature, as devils feel less like mindless threats and more of sinister creatures. The devils can seemingly be anything, from the tomato devil to the zombie devil. It's a simple but fun concept with a chance of a lot of great scenes coming from Denji or other new characters fighting them, keeping the audience on edge to see what the next devil's power might be and how they will be defeated. The Yakuza, who are holding Denji for his father's debts, also mentioned devil hunters, tying into the end of the episode where Denji is found by a girl who says she is a public safety devil hunter. She mentions being able to smell that Denji has not the scent of a human or devil, possibly because of Puchita becoming Denji's heart. This girl's name is Makima, and despite not having much screen time, she seems manipulative yet gentle, a character I will look forward to seeing more of in the next episode. Another character we barely see, yet is still enjoyable, is the zombie devil, a one-off villain more meant to ease the audience into the world and progress the plot, mainly through killing Denji with his minions. Denji dying is a really dark scene. His helpless screams as he's mauled to death by greedy people he used to work for is brutal, and I wouldn't be against seeing more scenes in the series like this, just as long as they don't overdo it. It's my favorite scene in the entire episode because of how helpless it is. Denji is seemingly never allowed to rest. The zombie devil is fine. Its design is kinda cool, its ability is okay, it's not a terrible addition to the episode, and it does its job well, but I wish it had a more memorable personality, even if it was gonna be killed off quickly anyways. So the fight scene with the zombie devil is noteworthy, as it gives a quick grasp on what Denji is capable of doing when he becomes the Chainsaw Devil, alongside the snappy animation being a great fit for this series. After the zombie devil dies, Denji laughs as he goes on a killing spree of the remaining zombies, showing a more psychopathic nature, even if they did deserve it due to their greed leading them to make a deal with a devil. However, at least I can say the zombie devil is semi-entertaining, as the debt collector, while grounded, isn't intimidating in the slightest and is probably the most average thing about this episode. This episode's pacing is great. I can't even say the scene that felt boring. Maybe a bit dragged out near the start, the dream sequence seems a bit pointless and random, and the scene where Denji is offered money to eat a cigarette is a bit too long for my liking, but these aren't major problems and don't come close to ruining the episode for me. The soundtrack in the background of this episode is always fitting. The intense build-up to the tomato devil, the mournful yet distant sounds of rain when young Denji is at his father's grave, and that build build up to the lighter tone when Denji makes a deal with Puchita, the quiet but sinister sounds when Denji is stabbed and begins to run, the elegant tone when Denji tells Puchita to live out the dreams he thought he never could, the heartbeat building in the background as Puchita becomes Denji's heart, to those final scenes, the OST swelling with a somber tone as Denji realizes Puchita isn't with him anymore. The audio building up with a newfound sense of self with the loss to Puchita, the sound seemingly coming to an end as Denji finishes his inner monologue. Before the sound of chainsaws starts and Denji becomes the Chainsaw Devil for the first time, the OST going to heavy rock before jamming up as Denji begins attacking the zombie devil, coming to an end when Denji cuts the devil in half before the audio has subtle anger before raging, Denji killing all the remaining zombies, aggressively excited about killing off anyone he owes debt to, soon leaving us in silence as Makima walks into the room with all the dead zombies before the OST plays one last time, resembling the sounds from the two flashbacks, ending as the episode comes to an end as well. This episode doesn't show the clear direction of where the series will go, as this episode only sets up Denji being kept as a human by Makima, but this itself is good enough on its own, and the series is at least moving, even if the end goal is a bit clouded. Overall, despite keeping itself grounded by only focusing on developing one character, it still manages to be a great first episode, establishing this series as being able to balance out being a crazy bloodbath to having quiet but impactful character moments. I can't help but find myself excited to see more, as I have only watched one episode and read the first manga, and I'd love to see the series get even better as it goes on, and potentially live up to be one of the best series I have ever seen.